ahead, we turn our attention to a sector that is playing an increasingly critical role in shaping India's healthcare future. That is the medical devices. It is no longer seen only as a market of scale in India. It is steadily emerging as a hub of innovation, manufacturing capability, and global collaboration, as we can all see here. This relevance has been reinforced very recently, as you all know that a day before, India and European Union has finalized a free trade agreement, which has been also known as Mother of Peace, opening access to one of the world's largest and most regulated pharmaceuticals and medical technology markets, valued at over USD 570 billion. This development marks a significant step in strengthening India's position as a trusted global healthcare manufacturing and innovation partner. With that context, we would like to begin our next session, that is medical devices, building capability, access, and global trust. Now, to guide this important discussion, we have a moderator with deep experience in policy engagement and medical technology ecosystem. I would like to invite Dr. Rajiv Chibbar, Vice President, External Affairs, Sahajanan Medical Technologies Limited. Let's welcome our speakers with a round of applause. And his co-panelist, Mr. Rajiv Nath, Managing Director, Hindustan Syringes and Medical Devices Limited, and Forum Coordinator, AMED. Dr. Hui Chen Su, Director, International Medical Center, National Cheng Kong University Hospital and attending urologist, Department of Urology at National Cheng Kong University Hospital. Dr. Hina Sheikh, Head Public Health Advocacy at Regov Health. Dr. Vaibhav Garg, President, Global Government Affairs, Merrill Group of Companies, New Delhi.
Hello.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. You gave a great introduction to the session, and just to give a very brief intro to the session. We'll be indulging into a very rapid fire kind of a session because we've been asked to curtail it within 30-35 minutes as compared to the 1 hour that we had earlier. So yes, I am Dr. Rajiv Chibbar. I am Vice President with Sahajanan Medical Technologies. We are a leading manufacturer of cardiovascular devices in India. I'm joined with a great panel today, and they are one of the best in terms of how to look at the sunshine sector like medical devices being promoted not only in India but also globally. And this sector has really transitioned. I mean, from a low-cost manufacturing base to a value-driven, innovation-led medical device ecosystem. This sector has really moved and galloped at a pace which is unprecedented as of now. We're presently around 13 to 14 billion in terms of evaluation, and by 2035, 2040, the sector is actually looking at becoming a $50 billion sector. And we also, as a sector, would be fulfilling the Prime Minister's Viksit Bharat dream. So I think without any ado, I'd like to have a quick opening question, a warm-up question with everyone. And in one line, what must India do next to be seen as a trusted global medical device partner, especially that we've now had a few FTAs. Recently, 3 days back, we had the European Union FTA, and then Oman was there, and before that, we had a couple of others, including EFTA. So India is galloping in terms of becoming a recognizable nation, a nation that is really becoming global also. So I'll start from Rajiv ji and then to the next speaker from the line.
So I think as a one-liner, I would say that uh, Indian manufacturers, we need to focus on foremost quality. Secondly, on regulatory compliances, global regulatory compliance. Number three, in the area of innovation and technology upgradation. Only then we can build our credibility and trust globally.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Madam.
Uh, I'm a as my job, I'm a doctor. Also, I think the future uh, uh, goal is more precise, the more confidence, and the more comfortable, and the more convenient, and the more integrated system for a patient this patient center coordination. So I yes, I think maybe they uh um future a device for future medicine is the above goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think patient centricity is something which evolves naturally when we look at, a newer age, this sector. Madam, you.
in, if India really looking forward to become the global partner, then I that they really focus. They would work on the convergence of regulatory compliance with the standards. They would also need to build more of clinical evidences, um, more of transparent evidences where you can also look for performance market, uh, as well as post market. The thought that is that in order to build scale and credit, only then we will be able to entrust ourselves as a trusted.
Absolutely. Dr. Vibhav.
So, Rajiv, you are talking about four companies sitting on the panel. They are already supplying globally. Uh, all of us are supplying to more than 50 countries, more than 100 countries, in fact, in cases. So that trust has gone in for sure. That's why the countries outside India are accepting us. But just to reinforce the message, in my mind, the quality of medical device, the number one criteria. There should not be any compromise or any shortcut there that I will do some mechanism through which I will shorten the life of the medical device. Number one. Number two, I think which is equally important, if not less, is having clinical evidence in support of medical devices. Global clinical evidence. Obviously, when manufacture in India, we do a lot of clinical evidence generation in India. But how do we become part of global clinical generation exercise also is very, very critical. Because today regulators are seeking clinical evidence in various countries that you export.
Absolutely. I think the reason I came up with this warm up question was basically to look at how we can now look at exploring the capability building that India now has, exploring the patient access that we now have to, and not only in terms of Indian patient access, but now if you look at global MVA, the medical value tourism that we are looking at, and also the global exports that we now have moved into, and the last is obviously regulatory trust and the global positioning. So one of the reasons for this warm up question was just to acquaint everyone that this is how the session flow is going to take forward. So my first question now formally is to Madam Hu. Um, in terms of uh, uh, you know from an international clinical perspective, how is India viewed today as a partner for clinical research, device trials, and academic collaborations? And what would make India more attractive destination for global clinical participation? Given your expertise in clinical basis, I thought we'll try to bring this forward because we do have a gray area, which is a clinical area. And as Dr. Vibhav was saying, a lot of companies have now looked at clinical validation as one of the marquee points where we are now becoming more and more recognized.
Thanks for your question. And I'm from Taiwan. And wait,
Hello. Take this.
word. Okay. I'm from Taiwan, and you know, over the past years, our hospital has some deep and close relationship with Indian, and our hospital have trust collaboration with partner with Indian, especially in medical education and clinical practice and some academic collaboration. And during the COVID-19, you remember, and our hospital, especially in Tainan, our city, the NCQH set up telemedicine and interaction with Indian hospital. So we by this way we can share our experience and our policy to foreign hospital and all other country. So I think post-COVID, post-COVID pandemic area, like our country, some rural area has difficult to hospital service, like the best Indian. I think telemedicine is one way to overcome the further hospital and the medical service. And then I think Indian healthcare system is highly diverse. You you agree that across the different region. From general medicine perspective, I think this diversity offer a valuable environment for large-scale clinical application and real-world data generation and experience. I think digital and remote healthcare solution show strong potential in areas such as image-based screening and diagnosis for pulmonary infection disease or some preventive management of cerebrovascular and cardiovascular disease and the pediatric healthcare system. So I think about advanced medical care as like above mentioned, AI-assisted medical device maybe can support the clinicians by improve their workflow efficiency and reduce their time consuming and the manpower consuming process. And but I also emphasize that it is very important to acknowledge that there are concerns by patient center system. This is very important. So the AI assistant service is consider the safety and the reliability and the clinical responsibility. So in the post-pandemic era, Taiwan is also facing the challenge of the shortage of manpower and the shortage of professional service. And so I also emphasize an integration, especially multidiscipline domain and the assistance from AI assistance. So maybe I think telemedicine and AI assistant and integration system service is maybe we can do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think pretty pertinent points that you put up, and obviously AI is an area that India is galloping. The earlier session that we had before the thalassemia session, Dr. Bali explained how hospitals are now moving more towards data centricity and AI modeling, and this is becoming a similar, quid pro with the medical device industry also, where a lot of AI mechanics have now really seeped into it. And India, Taiwan have a great relationship in terms of technology transfers, in terms of also working together on many fronts, whether it is patient safety, whether it is telemedicine. In fact, our e-Sanjeevani portal, which promotes telemedicine through the national healthcare system, has also picked up very well, and we've got a lot of queries around that also. Data centricity, as I said, yes, gray areas is something that India is really brushing up, and we're trying to pull up our socks in terms of credible data. Dr. Garg just mentioned about how evidence-based devices can really make a difference in this. So thank you very much for your views. And the last is, obviously, we've got enough institutes and academicians who have now started to look at medical devices as an area of partnerships. So we've moved from not only the AI systems, but a traditional AI, which is academia and industry, to be one of the newer areas of interest within the academia too. Let me now quickly move to Rajiv Nathji. You've just heard how collaborations is important, but yes, the medical device industry still is considered as the dwarfed cousin of the pharma industry, and we still feel that there are areas where the government needs to relook into seeing the medtech as a newer sunshine area. Although we've been called as a sunshine sector, but there are areas where they need to re-look into. Um, from uh, from 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 your experience, what are the top three capability gaps that must be addressed to move decisively from volume to value?
I think that's a very important question, especially considering that the EU-India FTA has just been signed. So tariffs from both sides is going to make market access from both sides important. So rather than going for markets which were just price-based, like Africa, for example, or the Indian own market of government for L1 pricing, manufacturers now need to tap the value-added markets. And for value-added markets, I think we need to consider three areas we need to become stronger capable in terms of capacity and capability. First and foremost is in technology and innovation. Manufacturers need to do backward integration, go for higher automation, go for more advanced manufacturing technologies. Uh, Second area is in the area of innovation. Instead of offering vanilla products, we need to understand the markets, especially in USA or Europe or Australia or Canada, which are willing to pay for more value-added services or features, and see what kind of innovation is already existing and selling over there, and try to match that requirement of innovation or need over there in that market over there. Second area over there, accordingly, is in terms of quality systems and regulatory requirements and compliance. So this also I mentioned in my opening remark, that quality becomes the key for demanding a premium for your product, a higher price for your product. The buyer must be willing to pay that higher price. So regulatory compliance allows that market access. That is not enough. We must be able to demonstrate by clinical research, clinical evaluation, both in India and abroad, how our product is performing and clinically giving an advantage to the healthcare provider. Then that value addition. And the area is the area of policy and skill talent. Here, of course, we've got some movement taking place over there. The government did come out last year with some policy supporting schemes. That still has to be now taken forward. But here, in terms of skilling, we can only be as good as our gurus are, our teachers are. Now that regulations have come into being, and we are still parked under the CDSU and still the regulators coming to us are from the looking at the devices from the drugs bias in terms of performance. The learning has to move more from the international regulatory compliance end, and the capacity and capability building that we can do on a voluntary basis to achieve that comes from platforms like ICMET Plus certification, which is available from Quality Council of India, which is based on ISO standards, not BIS standards. By making that pathway or choosing that pathway, we can build that confidence before we go in for the expensive international regulatory approvals. And that also allows us now to create the capacity for skill building, both in terms of regulatory compliances, because when you hire consultants, and that's where we are now working with Life Sciences Skill Development Council, we are going to be creating a scheme for personal certification for certifying consultants and trainers, their competency level, because currently what is available in the market are retired inspectors from BIS, retired drug inspectors, retired people from the regulatory side from pharma industry who come and train us and consult us. And that creates very confusing mindsets, which are normally, when we implement, the terminology also which is used is not what the international regulator is looking at. Then we trip in those audits over there. So that's where the skill development is going to be coming in, when we'll be having certified consultants, and manufacturers would know that so-and-so person has now been certified by this particular system, and you just don't go to anybody in a random manner over there. Those are the kind of areas and policy support for all these areas where the government is going to be pushing and incentivizing certification, both in public procurement or in skilling, is something that is now going to allow us to go the value-added scheme. Otherwise, we'll all be struggling for the bottom of the pyramid, the L1 lowest price, which will never allow us the profits for doing the deep pockets required for R&D and global competitiveness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajiv ji. I think a dire shift from L1 to Q1 is something that we all have been waiting for. And thanks a lot for your views, because you covered everything from technology to advancements to quality systems that need to be spruced up, and also the policy shift that we require. Now, most of us, in terms of serious manufacturers, and as normally at IMED we call minus the pseudo manufacturers, um, do adhere to a lot of quality and innovation practices. R&D is inherent. Companies like Merrill, SMT, or HMD, J Mitra, and others, they really invest a lot in their research and development. The products are also recognized, globally recognized also, which means there is a confidence that is instilled in our products globally. This should give hospitals a good enough cue to really go for Make in India. And I'm not discrediting the global players who are also here in India. They equally have done qualitative analysis around their products, and everything is also based on how scientific validations are done. So my question is to Dr. Hina Sheikh. You know, medical devices are increasingly influencing outcomes beyond tertiary hospitals, especially in cardiology and digital health, as you said. How can India ensure equitable access to advanced devices while maintaining affordability and clinical integrity? And what is a take from an HCP, or basically a hospital system from yourself on the acceptance of made in India product?
Come from a background. Um, so yes, we work in the cardiac care. We are also into AI and diagnostics care. Today, we've been able to penetrate ourselves into the most rural setting. When coming to accessibility, I would say that we should start from the designing phase itself. You know, when we are designing a solution or even medical devices, we need to have this concentration in mind that what are the area that we are trying to reach or address them. For example, if you are if you want your device to get into the rural setting, you need to understand these areas are the most low resource setting. That means your design should be low skill interoperability. You should have you should consider fact that electricity also is an issue in certain space. So the design itself should start from there if you want the reach of your services into these kinds of settings. Other than that, you need to also understand what is the value addition your device can bring into a government program system. That means you should understand that what is your device and what program can that device support. That will bring alignment with the government prioritization as well. Then please focus that whatever solution that you're creating, that has actually an end-to-end system. That means that the patient that is actually being screened out is being treated, and you are making sure that that treatment or their continuum of care is there. For example, let's say because we have good e-Sanjeevani system right now, at least your devices, if they are screening out those cases, should be connected to those e-Sanjeevani system that they are being treated. Only then you'll be able to do a value education and show an impact what your devices or solution has been created. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Yes. So I think from a hospital perspective, my question was largely that how do you now perceive the medical devices really manufactured in India, or with the kind of technologies that are available, really being effectively taken up by hospitals? I mean, that's something which I was yeah. No,
Yeah, so devices, very importantly, is um, in order to be taken by the hospitals in India, or you say whether scalability, right? Uh, Most important, and even the government is focusing, is you need to have an impact assessment done of your solution. That is the one. Second thing, you should have a follow-up data of a patient of at least 1 year if you really want to show that your program has given an impact and it's a cost-effective solution. Right now, we have DHR who are doing the health technology assessment as well as cost effectiveness study, and they support you in this aspect. So, if this study has been done, you are able to prove yourself as a cost effective, impactful solution, which can then be promoted at the policy level into the different kind of settings, whether it's been a PHC, or even a hospital.
absolutely. I think this is the kind of value in that we need to really look at. Let me quickly move to Dr. Vibhav Garg. Um, Merrill has been a global company now, and if you look at the kind of vast products Merrill has, there is a clinical quotient behind almost all devices that Merrill kind of like. So from an international clinical perspective, um, we heard ma'am talked about how acceptability is really going to take, but global trust needs to be really, really earned. So, from your experience engaging with international regulators and markets, what must Indian manufacturers do differently in regulatory science or clinical validation and compliance culture to compete with global majors? We are competing in that, and it is evident also, but still your views on.
Sure. Thanks, Rajiv, for that question. Um, I think we don't need to reinvent the wheel, honestly, right? We as Indian medical device manufacturers are part of the global medtech industry any which ways, right? I think what we need to understand is that I just take a comparison with pharma. In pharma, we are called as pharmacy of the world because we really early on adopted generic manufacturing in pharma. Incidentally, to my mind, there are no generics in medical devices, right?
Not be also.
You know, in India, if I talk about a small device called drug eluting stent, there are 72 plus brands in India, and no two are same, right? That means it clearly shows that there are no generics in medical devices, and therefore it is very important for Indian medical device company to keep that edge in terms of technology adoption. And that would come in my mind from academia, from boutique medical device company. I think that system needs to play a very important role in India if we have to become the medtech hub that we will become in next 5 to 10 years. And I think continuous effort on quality management system is very critical. QMS, continuous focus on generating clinical evidence, economic evidence also, as Dr. Hina talked about, I think will be the key for us to go global and establish Indian medtech brand out there. One thing that we should definitely do is, keep engaged with global regulatory authorities to be able to provide that insight into medtech industry, how we are pursuing quality in a country, how we are pursuing clinical evidence generation, and so on and so forth. That will support a long time for Indian medtech companies, Indian medtech industry to establish the brand globally. Thank you.
Excellent points. I think a lot of Indian companies are now investing, and as Rajiv ji said, investing hugely into R&D. They're plowing into quality systems, and even our CDSO in that sense. They're also, going global. IMD-RF has given them a fillip and a feather in their cap. We need to capitalize on most of these, policy advancements that, the medtech industry can really milk. And I think it's heydays when we come with evidential, medtech devices that can really go global. From one policy reform item that I would like to hear from each one of you that could immediately boost the Indian, devices exports, because we're talking about FTAs that are really coming out. We're talking about the global acceptance now. We've already had a couple of, panel members talking about how, R&D and quality has become the most important quotient when a device looks into. Ma'am talked about how acceptance in tertiary care could also be there if we have the real time data which could be plowed into. So one policy reform that could immediately boost the medical device, Indian medical device exports, and we're looking at just a minute each because we're just out of time in this sense. Starting from Rajiv ji down.
Got Praveen ji over here from to help us on that. So my ask report is very simple and short. Using a huge opportunity of possibly not exporting 3,000 to 5,000 rupees worth of Class A medical devices. To export Class A medical devices, one needs a free sale certificate, which is currently not being given by CDSCO to manufacturers. This is needlessly and unnecessarily disallowing them to export. Earlier, when we were not under regulations, the same manufacturers were able to get the FSC from the Ministry of Consumer Affairs from DGFT. So just because Class A storage devices are not having a manufacturing license should not be a condition not to give that pre-sale certificate. Give that and allow the manufacturers to export. Thank you.
Excellent. Dr. Su, one capability Indian manufacturers must master to win global clinical trust. One capability that Indian manufacturers must master to win global Indian trust. What could that be?
I'm sorry, I have no idea about the manufacturer from Indian policy or government policy.
But if you would look at an India-Taiwan partnership, how would you look at a partnership between capabilities when it comes to a manufacturer from an Indian destination?
Okay. I think if a device if a device is suitable and convenient and for patient, I think is uh, acceptable. I think it's an acceptable strategy. Yeah.
Great. Dr. Hina, one innovation that will redefine patient access in the next 5 years.
I would say anything with AI integrated wearable devices which can share data directly to the doctors can be something that can be
Excellent.
looked into.
Yep. Dr. Garg, one global market, India is best positioned to lead in the medical devices industry.
I think India is why just one geography, Rajiv.
That's
To my mind, you name a major geography, and Indian medtech industry will be catering to that geography in next 5 to 7 years if we are not already catering. But just to name, because India, you just signed, EU is a huge opportunity in front of all of us Indian manufacturers who are already catering or yet to cater. But I think beyond that, entire African region, Sub-Saharan region, South America, America itself, ASEAN, Asia Pacific. I think everything I think is a opportunity for Indian medical device because we are known for quality at a cost effective price. Thank you.
absolutely. Yep. So I think where we started, Dr. Garg left there. We have, one or two questions from the audience. Yes, ma'am. We could have one.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Dr. Anmolika. I'm heading the quality department at University. My question to the panelists is that we're talking about quality management at the healthcare level, hospital sector, in terms of medical devices. But are we looking after the medical devices that are reaching homes? The basic things like glucometer, the apparatus, because in healthcare we have a BME to cater to that. But what about at homes? How do we reach there? How do the smart watches and other things have a quality check throughout in terms of medical device? Anybody?
You-
So in terms of addressing the apprehensions of patients and healthcare providers like you, the first filter which is provided is the regulatory filter. Nothing will enter the market which is not going to be calibrated, safe, or working in terms of accuracy. That's the basic parameter that's going to be addressed. Now, after that parameter is addressed, you've got products available in the market with varying performance and varying quality consistency. When you make engineering products, you have to make consistent quality. And that's where brand credibility comes in. So as consumers, you will not be doing the public health care procurement in terms of tendering. When you go to the pharmacy over there or shop over there, you'll be given few choices of products where the shopkeeper himself knows that he will not be facing any quality or service issue. Nobody wants a headache. He'll push products which are normally quality-wise credible. After that comes your own confidence by advertisement, by marketing, by user experience, or by talking to other people on testimonials, where you will have confidence of buying a brand of glucometer, where you have the confidence and trust. Those are the, I would say, tiers which are there to make you help that choice. Thank you.
So we're actually out of time, but I thank each and every panel member here. Great answers, and I'm sure we've been able to really do well and in terms of justifying our panel. Thank you very much, and over to the VOH team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for moderating and we got some great insights about this and what exactly is happening and the current situation around. So now I would like my Dr. Rajiv to come on center of stage and present the co-panelist, Mr. Rajiv Nath, and our audience to please start clapping, and our audience for the ongoing claps and applause. applause for this particular session. Dr. Hui Chen So. Dr. Hina Sheikh. Dr. Vaibhav Garg. Now I would like to invite Ms. Pinky Shah to please come on stage to felicitate Dr. Rajiv Chibba for excellently moderating this discussion. Can we have group pictures with all the panelists, please? Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. This brings us to at a point where we invite our delegates, speakers, and dignitaries to a well-deserved break and join us for the networking lunch. So we have exactly 30 minutes to have lunch, network, and re-energize, and we expect you to meet exactly after 30 minutes here. Thank you so much.